I want to ask you to help me understand what's been happening in my life since I started writing a book 2 years ago. All I knew when I started writing the book was that it's my story. It's a story based on my recovery from drug addiction, which happened 7 years ago, and an awakening of my spirit, if you like, that happened at that time. And all I knew when I started writing was that that's what the story was going to start with. I didn't know where it was going to go, but I kept writing, and it started teaching me about shamanism. And specifically, the shamanic journey is something that I started doing and learning about. Soul flight, I think it's called by some shaman, where I enter a trance-like state to the sound of drumming, and I journey. My soul takes flight, even though I'm aware of where I am at the time. If you like, I travel to the spirit world. And specifically on two of those journeys, the first one I was shown a map of all of the extinct and dormant volcanoes of the British Isles. It was very clear that I was being shown this map. And then very soon after, I was, during a journey, taken to a specific place on the west coast of Scotland, which is where one of these volcanoes is. And it felt very familiar to me. And so all of this started to feed into the writing of what is the first book. It feels like there's a trilogy coming through me. And next month, I'm going up to this place in Scotland where I was taken to journey on the land and to connect with the spirit and the energy of each of the dormant volcanoes I've found on this map. And I'm trying to understand a bit more about what's happening, because I have a job, a normal job, and yet I've always felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. The writing it just comes through me. I'm just buzzing when I write, and yet it's now coming in, it's now almost feels like altering the path of my life into an adventure that I'm living. And most of the time I'm trusting what's happening, but now it's taking me on solo adventures or to parts of the wilderness where I'll be on my own, away from my family. And I want to know how to make the most of this opportunity and this expansion that's happening.
Well, the logical explanation, the natural response that you are evoking from us is follow the journey and see where it leads. But that takes an element of trust, doesn't it? And so while we want to say that, we also want to say, recognize that no one is asserting any plans, any intentions, any rules, any responsibilities or obligations to you. So you're not being taken on a journey in the sense that someone else has plans for you and you just need to come along. Because that's not how any of this works. The way it works is you have this vortex that you have been the creator of that is brimming with vibrational knowledge and becoming. And when you tune to the frequency that allows it, then you are inspired to the impulse, to the path. That's what you're describing here. So the question that we would like to put to you in order to bring some clarification from you to you is, does it feel to you that you've been asking for understanding? Things like this don't just happen without there being something that you're reaching for. When you feel an impulse to do something, so you felt the impulse to pick up that book and to read it and then to participate in the processes that it offered. And in that process, with the drumming and the focusing, you managed to quiet your mind. In other words, so many teachers teach meditation, different ways of going about it, but similar in this way, in that you are distracted from the normal things of your world that already have what you would call normal vibrational activations going on within you. And through various processes, you are guided to a quieting of your mind. and in the quieting of your mind, so there's no resistance within you, then that's when it's easier for you to feel the impulse from broader perspective. That's exactly what happened to Esther. She was guided, Jerry and Esther were guided to meditation. Neither one of them even knew what it really was, and neither one of them really wanted anything to do with it. Everyone that they thought they knew who meditated was really strange and weird. And they were business people. They did not want to be strange and weird. And so Esther asked the question, well, what do you mean by meditation? Sit in a quiet room, wear comfortable clothing, focus on your breathing, quiet your mind. When your mind wanders, then it will release the thought. So Esther was so knocked over by the feeling of energy from the woman who was presenting these ideas to her that she decided to do that. Her impulse was that far. That impulse was strong enough. The clarity of that person was strong enough that Esther did not question it whatsoever. So she sat and tried for herself the very thing that she had been encouraged to do. And in the very first moments of it, she felt something new, as you said, awaken within her. She knew it was different. It was different than the way her mind was reacting with the world that she knew. She could feel something that she didn't understand. She didn't need to understand it. She knew she couldn't understand it, but she was drawn to it just the same. So Jerry and Esther meditated every day for 15 or 20 minutes for about 9 months, during which time Esther managed to find vibrational alignment with that which is us, so that it became easier and easier and easier for her to follow the path of the intention that she'd set forth before she was born, the intentions that she and Jerry had put into their vortex, the intentions to uplift. The most significant thing that we want to say to you is you're being guided to the fulfillment of your own desires. But when you stand in a place sort of questioning, like, where am I going and what am I being led to? In other words, when you ask questions to which you are not ready to receive direct answers, it puts a sort of kerfluffle in your energy. But when you are instead just following the process as long as it feels good, as long as it is comfortable, as long as you are feeling the power and the direction of it, then just know that you don't really need or want to know all of the details of how it's unfolding. In many ways, it would take the fun out of it, but even more important than that, if you're not ready to know it, you're not yet ready to know it. And somebody telling you something that you're not ready to know causes you to offer more resistance about it. So it really is an attitude of trust. So we have some questions for you. Do you believe that you are an extension of source energy?
Yes.
And do you believe that source energy adores you and has your best interest and everyone else in mind?
Yes.
Do you believe that source energy is helping you to fulfill intentions that you have established?
Yes.
Do you believe that your intentions will continue to clarify as you're moving along?
Yes.
Do you accept that this is an adventure really worth taking?
Yes.
Do you really want to know all the twists and turns, or are you happy to just know it's happy every step of the way and you're willing to just allow it to unfold?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit more about what happens during a shamanic journey when the soul takes flight, as it does?
Well, there's a little bit of distortion in the words that you are using there, because your soul is always flying. You are the one taking flight.
Okay.
And meaning what's happening is you are distracted enough from resistant thought so that your vibration is raising and allowing your awareness of the flight that is always taking place.
Right.
Ooh, doesn't that feel good?
That's awesome.
We never walk around. We're always energy in motion, you see. Always energy and conscious, always freely flowing. And when you allow yourself, and this is the place to say something that you'll hear more easily because it's from a knowing what I don't want point of view. When you stop doing that thing you do, then you fly. When you stop doing that thing you do that keeps you from flying, then you fly. So what's happening there is you are no longer doing that thing you do. But what we want to say to you and to all of you, why not do that all the time? Why only in the shamanic journey? Why only in that mysterious place where you're weird?
It's starting to happen when I row at the gym now.
Yeah.
It's starting to happen when I rock my baby to sleep.
There you
I'm
go.
Flying and
well, your baby's a shaman there. Already flying.
Thank you.
Something more?
No, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.